I want to see, maybe you can tell with your ears if it's coming out of my speakers and then coming back into the mic, which is what I think is going to happen. So tell me what you think. How clean is that sound? Does that sound clean or distorted? Yeah. So that is what's happening. So let's see if there's a way to change that.
We all need Sebastian's wisdom of the computer, software, music, and all things human.
Oh, man.
Talk to me.
Oh, man, you're hyping me up too much. Yeah, I'm just here to answer your questions about music production. Oh, my God. She looks even cooler than you. It's like all throughout the ground. Yeah, you got the waves going. That's so dope. Yeah.
Dude, Tina, yeah, you can tell her teeth are much whiter than mine because it reflects.
Holy. Yeah, what are you doing? Veneers? You got veneers over there.
Yeah. She's in the dental field, so she has to be.
Oh, that's so true.
Say hi to Sebastian. Come here.
Oh, you got the mountain. You got the mountain going on there. Is that Makapu?
Yeah, I know, right? Well, that's what's ironic about this, Sebastian, is that we're in Hawaii, on lockdown, forced to be in our house, and pretend like we're outside.
Yep.
That's what this is. Uh-oh. Go check it out, Leah. Go check it out.
Yeah, that's too
okay,
cool.
So why don't we, this is my situation. My Mac laptop is at work right now at iHeartRadio because our engineer is putting software onto that so that we can maybe start doing our radio show from home.
That's awesome. Remote work. So, yeah, I saw your essential personnel.
Yeah. Sarcasm.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it?
That computer.
So like my original idea was to already have the laptop set up and then, you know, maybe have the camera on the laptop and you could just maybe like even show us through some software. But since I don't have the laptop today, I'll have it tomorrow.
What are you doing right now? Is this your phone?
Using the garbage can Apple.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Looks like R2D2. He's an Apple guy, so he knows. Yeah, he knows all the
Mac Pro. Yep.
Yeah.
Wait, so you have a laptop too?
But I have a laptop too. But that's the one that I'm going to use for all my music stuff. This is like just my home desk computer. But then that one's going to be, you know, with the MIDI keyboard, with the looper, and so. It's really about getting familiar with everything, including like you said, you're telling me there's like Fruity Loops and all these different programs.
Fruity Loops? I told you.
There's Fruity Loops, there's Studio One, there's Logic. So I mean, there are a lot of options. It's just personal preference. If you're an Apple guy, I'd probably just use Logic Pro. But what does KK use? Is she using Fruity Loops?
Logic. She likes Logic, but I heard Fruity Loops is just super user friendly.
I would get Fruity Loops if you guys are PC people. So if you use a PC or she uses a PC, then do Fruity Loops. Fruity Loops is really good for hip hop and it's good for EDM, but and Logic can do everything. So, but if you're an Apple person, I would do Logic. Yeah,
because we got the iPad, we got the laptop. Right, and then we got the desktop. They're all Apple.
If you're all Apple, Logic is way easier. It's intuitive with Apple. You get it once, or if you already have it, then you can put it on like 5 computers. You can use your iPad, so you can actually use your iPad with Logic on the computer.
Oh, nice.
Which is pretty cool. So, but yeah, I mean, I can show you guys Logic. I don't have Fruity Loops, but I've used it. So if you want to do that, we can do that too. But yeah.
Well, okay, why don't we just start off with the, I figure, what would, everybody who's, stuck at home right now, we're all trying to find a new hobby, and I just think in general, being able, like I said, being able to use our technology to the best of their abilities is a wonderful thing. But specifically, even, right now, the arts, right, music, you see a lot of our local musicians going live, and it's right now in the world, it's do it yourself, make your own music from your house is such a needed thing. So let's talk let's go down to kid level. We're just talking the most basic. You haven't touched a computer in years. You haven't played with a musical instrument in years, but you want to try. What's the first step? What is your first step?
First step to making music would be have a device. Like, I mean, it could just be your iPhone, because straight up you can prop up your iPhone and make TikTok videos of yourself playing and singing. I mean,
GarageBand, right? Doesn't like phone have like GarageBand?
If you're trying to produce like hits, like hits, Billboard hits have been made on iPads and iPhones on using GarageBand. So yeah, like if you're trying to record, GarageBand is all you need. Straight up.
No, because that's a great thing to coming from you, because you get paid, you're a professional, you actually lay down music for professional musicians, and you're at that level. But to hear you say, guys, hey, if you have the GarageBand, which comes free with whatever, you know, usually your laptop or whatever, it comes free usually, right?
Yeah, and I'm just quoting the greats here. Like, you ever see that that company Masterclass? I get their like advertisements all the time, right? There's
just signed up. We haven't even.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Perfect time to try it.
Yeah, I've never done it, but I kind of want to. But one I saw that popped up as an advertisement was Hans Zimmer, who's like super famous composer, and he was like, you know, the best ideas are coming from some random kid in the Bronx with an iPad. You know, like that's just his quote there, but. You can do everything possible. It all comes down to the ideas you have and how you kind of implement them. And kids today are especially smart. You know, I'm trying to get smarter myself, but the way they're so smart is they just Google everything. Like if you want to learn how to do something, you just type in the question, how to make future-based dance drop, and then watch a YouTube video and just figure it out. I mean, it's so easy.
Honestly, I did that for video editing, right? Yeah. But if I'm honest, it was a long and arduous adventure. And so like in my mind, I go, if I could talk to a human,
yes,
that person is already there and they can help me go faster.
Through all the B shit.
But but I value that. What I'm really saying is something so old that everybody's really realizing right now is that teachers
are valuable again.
And a valuable thing.
Yeah, it fluctuates. Like teachers will be like considered worthless, and then they'll be considered great, and it just fluctuates. But
right now the stock is up. All the parents are at home going like, "What? Wow!"
Yeah, so many parents I've been talking to are going nuts because they're like, "How do I entertain my kid all day long?" Especially like the older kids. But yeah.
And so that's why this is a great one. Instead of just plopping them down from a video game and leaving them for 18 hours, this is like something they can. It's kind of video game like, right? To play with, some software, make some beats or whatever it is. So I mean, but it's proactive and it's active and you're learning and it's not just like consuming. You're producing, making the art. So I like the back and forth, So let's say you got the laptop, you got the GarageBand.
Yep.
Okay, so
if you're starting out from ground zero, like the way that like even at Apple, like when I was teaching there, like what they would start us out when we were teaching, they would say like just focus on like drag and dropping loops. For your average person that's just starting out, easiest way is listen to all these pre-made professional sounding loops, drag and drop the ones you like, and arrange it. Just work on arranging, kind of using your ears to figure out what drum sounds good with what bass, with what strings, synth. And it's really up to your taste because you can put like that Old Town Road song. You can put a trap beat with some like, what is it, a banjo or something, mandolin. You know what I mean? Like you can put all these different instruments, make your own style, genre. But yeah, I would just drag and drop loops. Most softwares come with a ton of loops. GarageBand has a ton of them. And then beyond that, the best company, if you want to sign up and get loops, is Splice. And everyone in music uses Splice. Splice is the huge library of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of loops, and they're all royalty-free, which is the best part. So royalty-free means that I can drag all these loops, I can make a song, and I can sell it on iTunes, I can get it on the radio and keep all the money from it, I can get it placed on TV shows and keep all the money from it. So royalty-free loops are really kind of where music is at right now. And a lot of the biggest songs are all using, like for instance, remember that song by Rihanna, Umbrella? Right? That drum part that you hear is a GarageBand loop, to give you an example.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my first song I ever made on GarageBand, I used that same loop. Obviously, it wasn't as successful as Umbrella, but yeah, it's GarageBand loops. All these loops are really great, and a lot of the best music you've ever heard utilizes loops. So if you're starting out, focus on using loops, dragging them, dropping them, arranging them, and then adding effects and playing around with it.
Now, okay, so how much, like, for example,
clearing my throat.
Oh, right.
So, for example, how much loops does something like GarageBand come with, and then how much did you get? Like, how much does it cost to add something like a splice to it?
For sure. So most softwares come with a lot. Like GarageBand comes with, it's in the hundreds or thousands. And then if you upgrade to Logic, you get more. When you get your device, it only comes with a few, but for free, it allows you to download more. So like if you go on your computer, there's an area in the settings or preferences where you can download additional content, and additional content means loops, or more stuff. Right. So, and then for something like Splice, you pay monthly. So with Splice, as an example, and there are other companies, I think Splice is the best, but you pay like, let's say $5 a month to be able to download 300 samples per month, like new samples.
Right.
So, or you can pay like, sometimes I'll have a project and I'll need more samples, so I'll pay like maybe $10 that month, and that way I can download 600 samples. And by sample, I mean like one kick sound or one snare sound, or it could be a piano chord progression or like a sawtooth bass line or whatever it might be. But yeah.
Okay, real quick. So now for the beginner, GarageBand is totally fine. Let's say they wanted to sell it. It's still fine because people have done on that level.
Yep. GarageBand's royalty free.
Right. But side question, when it's all said and done and you're at pro level, what is Sebastian? What are you using today? If you had to make a beat, are you bypassing GarageBand and using, what's the advanced stuff? Just so I can get a peek at what you're using.
For sure. So for me, I use Logic, which is the more professional version of GarageBand. If you want to use a really professional software, it's either going to be pretty much Logic Pro, Studio One. Studio One's really good. Fruity Loops. Fruity Loops is more PC, but they are going to have it for Mac either soon or maybe it's already there. And then the last one is Pro Tools. I would try to avoid Pro Tools like the plague. Pro Tools used to be industry standard, but if for your average person just starting out, it's very expensive. They charge you for every software update, every audio driver, and it's not, Pro Tools, honestly, it's just not that cool. Yeah.
It's old school.
If you say I use Pro Tools, you're probably some 6-year-old in a professional studio in the Bronx. I don't know, but I would use one of the other ones I mentioned. And then beyond that, there's a lot of other software that will really help you. One really good company is Isotope. They make a lot of great stuff, so a lot of different effects. Another one is FabFilter. Another one is Wave. Huh?
Have you used Ableton?
Yeah, oh, sorry, I forgot about Ableton. Yeah, Ableton is another software just like Logic and Fruity Loops. I forgot about Ableton. Okay. Ableton is used by a lot of the big guys too. Diplo, Skrillex. I mean, if you look it up online, different producers like and fall in love with different software programs. And we call these software programs DAWs or DAWs. Right. So like Calvin Harris uses Logic. Logic also is used by Billie Eilish and Finneas. A lot of people will use one or the other. Almost every hip hop producer that you can think of uses Fruity Loops. So Fruity Loops is huge in the hip hop community. Yeah.
Well, we have Ableton, right, but maybe we should consider getting Logic.
Oh yeah, I mean I have Logic on this one, but it's an old version. But I might as well just get the newer version for the laptop.
Logic, it's super worth it. It's like $200 and you can install it on 5 machines or 10 machines or something crazy. So yeah.
Also, do you know anything about, because we get the Adobe suite.
Nice.
Is there anything from that you utilize as well?
Adobe, I don't use too much, but Adobe is really industry standard for what you do on the radio. So if you're editing audio for radio, if you're editing audio for like Spotify commercials or that type of stuff, movies, Adobe is kind of industry standard. Not as much for making music. I wouldn't say that that's its specialty. Adobe, I mean, is obviously great for video editing, for graphic design. That stuff is unparalleled. I mean, with a lot of this music software, to be honest, you can really use any of the software programs and get the same result. Right. It's just what are you most efficient with and what are you naturally drawn to. So if you're starting out, I might look up some videos of each one, find a friend that has them and play around with it. Most of these programs offer a free trial. So another good option is say, hey, I'm going to download free trial of whatever it is, Fruity Loops, Studio One, try it out. Whatever you gravitate towards the most, then put all your time into that one and just learn it and become efficient with it. Within that though, within each DAW, so you pick a DAW, they all can do the same thing. The third-party company or the third-party software that I mentioned, like Splice, that is industry standard where everybody will use it. So no matter if you have Logic, Fruity Loops, Studio One, you're going to use Splice. Everyone uses Splice. No matter which one you're going to use, you're going to have like Waves or Isotope plugins for mixing and mastering. So you're going to have synthesizers, third-party synths, like big ones are Silent, Serum is a big one, Massive is one Skrillex made his whole album pretty much with. So you are going to buy third-party softwares to use in your DAW program, but the DAW you pick doesn't really matter. Does that make sense? So the third-party stuff really does matter at the pro level, but the software you're using, the DAW that you're using doesn't matter as much.
Okay. Now I know you said you're not doing as much of the live performance stuff, but is your workflow, your setup, is it a big difference between what you want to try to do live? Because we have the looper, we have this MIDI keyboard, and a lot of that is meant for like a live performance. But if I want to just be in my studio and I have all the time to just cut it up and I'm not really doing anything live, most of that type of gear, if you're producing in the studio, you can pair that gear with any of these programs, right? So they all work fine. Okay. If you're performing live, similar, but some programs are more geared towards live. So Ableton is totally, that software is totally geared towards playing live versus like Logic is not as much so. Does that make sense? Yeah. How about Main Stage? Have you heard of Main Stage?
So yeah, Main Stage would be an example of what you could use. The difference would be, so like Ableton is really good for live in the sense that, let's say I produced my whole song using Ableton. Right. The Ableton has these different hardware. It's like the Push. Have you seen the Push? It's like this giant kind of device with all these different pads. You have an Akai, I think, with all the pads, and you can automatically trigger every element of your song production, every drum, every vocal, every bass. It's automatically going to pair with the Push, and you can add different effects. It's very seamless.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So that's something, but that's really more for like DJing. That works really well for DJs, like the best probably you can do for DJs. Versus Main Stage for Logic is really good for like live singers, performers in that sense, like a Billie Eilish setup. Because with Main Stage, you can take your production and like let's say sing with your mic and have all your effects on it, like the auto-tune, the compression, reverb, EQ. So you can sound live identical to how you sound on the recording. Does that make sense? Like let's say normally you're at an open mic, you grab the microphone, you're not going to sound the same as you would on the track. But with Main Stage, you will sound identical because all the effects that were on the recording, you can have on your live sound on your mic.
So if we ever want to do that idea I had where we do like auto-tune karaoke nights.
Yep, done. Easy. We can hook it up to Main Stage, load up auto-tune on each of the tracks, or if you only have one track, and it'll happen. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's an auto-tune plugin called Auto-Tune Live, and that's the best thing for that. Like that's when you see, I won't like throw any artists under the bus, but a lot of the artists that you see live, you may not notice it, but yeah, there's definitely auto-tune on there. With the exception of like Adele and Sam Smith, there's definitely auto-tune going on there.
Wow. But yeah. If you hear them like sing without it, sometimes you're thankful. Like, thank you for singing auto-tune.
Yeah, they need some artists definitely need it. Yeah.
Okay. For the final step, just because this is like in the mind of someone who's just like, I made one thing. What do I do with it? You made a couple beats. You sang into it. You got the file at the end. What is some basic things that a person wanting to share this? What are some roads they can go from like take it to iTunes, Spotify to like what are some things that you do as an artist when you get a song done? What are some avenues you look at?
Sure. I mean, so if you're talking about getting the final product, you're just starting out and you have at least a few $100s to spend, right. I highly recommend getting some of these Isotope plugins because the hardest thing about making music is making something that sounds radio ready, meaning all the levels are mixed and mastered perfectly. Like it'll sound as loud and as clean as something on the radio. a lot of these new software programs and effects, like the Isotope ones, have a what do you call it? Like an auto feature, or like I forgot the name, but an intuitive button where you click it and it automatically mixes, masters, does all the levels for you. Does that make sense? So you don't have to think. You just click a button and it'll make it sound radio ready. It'll even make it like the perfect volume as that you actually need for radio, for iTunes, for Spotify. So
that's a plugin or a separate software?
Isotope makes these plugins. They will work with any DAW. So Isotope is one company I really like. They have a program called Ozone. They have a program called Nectar, and another one called Neutron. Those three will mix and master your song professionally for you with very little skill. Huh?
I remember having to pay like $500 a song, like to be mastered.
For sure. So it used to be, and here's the funny thing: there are a lot of people, and I would personally call them scumbags because I wouldn't do this to someone who literally they have like a mastering company or mixing company. One of my friends does this. Horrible. I won't throw him out. But literally, all he does, people will pay him $500 per song, $1,000 per song. All he does is put the song into Ozone, click the assistant button, and have it analyze. It does all the work for him. He exports it. He does no work. He just lets the software algorithm. So, I mean, that's literally a way to make money is, hey, I bought this $500 software and I spent 2 minutes learning how to press one button, and now I can charge people all this money.
So that's why we love you, Sebastian, because you're out here for the community just saying, hey,
I'm all about truth. Yeah.
This is how you do it. Yep. Don't get caught up paying extra.
Yeah, Don't pay some schmuck to mix and master your stuff. That's my advice. Is like spend $500, take a few minutes to learn how to click one button and do it yourself. Other than that, really focus, if you're trying to be an artist, on building a following, because that's the most important thing. If you're trying to make it in music, you either are building a following and doing that direction, or you're trying to get your music in like TV shows, movies, commercials, kind of making money behind the scenes. So those are the two big ways. You can do both, but you got to kind of pick one or the other. Yeah.
So for you, what do you see? Where is the direction of Sebastian's music career going now?
I mean, for me, I'm older. I got kids, so I'm more of the behind the scenes guy. I still, write and produce for other artists. So I just finished that second track for Olivia, and I'm doing 2 more with her. And they're getting signed to a publishing company out in Portland. But that's my kind of thing is I like producing and writing for other artists, pop artists, helping them, developing their sound, and then, getting that music signed with an agency who will be pitching it for TV shows, commercials, movies. Because the money you make from those, it's a lot nicer and consistent, because if you get a song placed on a TV show, every time that airs, you get a couple $100 or a couple $1,000. So it's a lot smoother and more consistent than other avenues. Yeah,
you can go different ways. Right, you got Scott Storch, right? He just stayed behind the scenes.
He's amazing. Yep.
You got Dre, who stayed behind, but he did a couple of tracks. Then you got Kanye, who started off making the beats, but then just went full on, like,
for sure.
Performing. So I mean, I guess it's just we'll see how it goes, because you definitely have the ability to do it live. It's the matter of how it all ends up, right?
For sure. Who knows? I'm still not as old as Kanye when he made it, so who knows?
Exactly.
Who knows? I've kind of given up on that, but who knows? Yeah.
You can't say I'm old to people who are older than you. Come on, Sebastian, you know the rules.
Hey, but I have more kids than you, so my gray hair is equal. Yeah.
Okay, well, dude, hey, this is an amazing first run. This is great practice. What I'm gonna do for the next one, get my laptop, I'm gonna set it up, and then we'll have KK here, and then we'll run an actual
lesson.
Yeah. It's like a setup just to talk story.
Yeah, this is fun. I didn't realize until at first I thought we were just talking story, and then I saw there's that little red button hitting record, and I'm like, oh shit! I should have been trying harder.
This is not live. So I get to edit. I'll just make a short one that's kind of friendly and helpful, just so that it's like a little teaser of basically. I mean, I think your idea is the right one, right? It's like I was out here. There's way you can gouge price if you want, price gouge. Or you could be out here trying to help the community and try to share. And right now, everybody, there's a whole bunch of people sharing their music, sharing their ideas, sharing their tips. And so,
I want
to try to create that community,
with life, it's working smarter and not harder. And like, if you start Googling, I mean, there are so many different options out there. There's thousands of different synths, plugins, effects, avenues to go. So it's always nice to talk to someone that's been through it and can tell you like ignore 90% of this and just get a few little things. It saves a lot of time and money. I have bought so many things that I didn't need or didn't use or like ended up being totally worthless, even with like good reviews on them. So yeah, you got to be careful.
Totally. Well, thank you so much, Sebastian. Once we get this going well, and we probably, the next level is actually plugging in the stuff and seeing we can mess with the audio and making sure. And then like we might have to, we can do a live jam session. I'm just saying, it's not really live.
I'm gonna just test something out real quick because I want to see if we can do a screen share. I think we can because I see the option. Let's see, screen share. Yeah. Okay, so there's that. And then if I do that, does that work? Are you guys still seeing my face? Yeah, you're still seeing my face. Okay.
Share screen.
Portion of screen, music, sound only, content from second camera. Wow, there are a lot of options here. Wait, can you see my desktop now or no?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Wait, can you see my face or just the desktop?
I can see both. Yeah. I can see you loading Olivia a new production mix time.
Oh, cool. Okay, I just want to see if it works.
Oh, wow. See, this is all new for us too. This is literally just, we played with it a little bit yesterday, and today's the first time we're really trying to mess with this webinar version of it. So this is cool, man. So that is, and there's a virtual background. That's cool. Annotate. What happens when I click this? Oh, this is so cool. And then you could, the whole idea is that you could share content and talk about it, put notes and all kinds of stuff.
Wait, so if I'm drawing, that's cool. I'm drawing on my screen. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Because this is really, it's meant for meetings. Companies and meetings and stuff. So to be able
classrooms
to train. Yeah, we can do webinars.
I wonder if. Oh wait, now I want to stop this. Okay. Oh. I just want to see how the audio sounds, and then if it doesn't sound good, I could try to put headphones on and then see if you can get the direct signal. Is that cool? Do you guys have like another minute or two just for me to test this out?
Just chilling.
I just want to test this out real quick. Because now I can remote write with other people that I'm collabing with instead of meeting up with them.
Yeah, no, seriously. Like, to me, this tool is going to be great even after this whole thing is done.
Oh, for sure. And hopefully this will inspire people, to work from home more. Like, I think if it works out and people are still productive and not having to actually go into an office, then they're not, I think the whole thing is like,
who wouldn't prefer that?
Cool. So you can train us just like this.
Wow. This is like.
I wish so, but you still see my. Can I make it so that all you see is Logic?
I see. No, but it's kind of cool because it's nice to have your face. Just to like talk.
Is my face like a FaceTime where it's like on the top right corner or something?
Yeah,
just like a little square on the left. What if we can move it around?
Yeah.
But mostly you're seeing the screen. Okay, cool.
Yeah, you know what? You can move it in a place where it's not a big deal.
Just moved it down in the bottom right corner.
So it's not blocking anything.
So like, let's say I play the drop. I want to see, maybe you can tell with your ears if it's coming out of my speakers and then coming back into the mic, which is what I think is going to happen. So tell me what you think. How clean is that sound? Does that sound clean or distorted?
Yeah.
So that is what's happening. So let's see if there's a way to change that. Built-in microphone.
It may take a little fussing, but the fact that he's already in this deep.
I think it's like.
That's amazing.
Let's see if this will work.
So, in the bottom left where it has that mute button or whatever, next to it has all the audio settings.
Yeah, that's what I just clicked. So let's do same as system. Can you hear? Can you hear it?
No.
Or, no, you couldn't just hear. Okay, let me see.
Yeah, you got to mess with the Songflower or.
Because then you have to go.
Built-in.
The output.
I think it's a Soundflower, huh?
Because right now, I think it's going into his headphones right now instead of the speakers now.
That is coming out here. I don't see an option to do what I want. Oh, audio settings. Let's see over here. Audio. Separate audio device. Joint audio by computer.
This is so cool.
Yeah, this is a great, especially this is free. I can't believe it.
Yeah, so like if you do get a Zoom account, you know, and then you just will save you to the contact.
The contact list, it'll be just easy to just
we just click and we don't have to send you like an invitation to you. You literally just like we tell you when there's going to be a meeting and you just can join in the meeting.
That's awesome. Yeah, I added my email and I got to add my phone number to it.
Cool.
Oh, sorry. Wait, can you still see me?
Yeah.
My bad.
See, this is why it's like if some people it just takes like 2 seconds and they just start pushing buttons.
Yeah, seriously, exactly. We've been playing with it, for a couple of days, and you just already got deeper than we could in a few seconds.
I just click every option until one works or none of them work, and then you're like, okay, shit out of luck.
Yeah, we seem to do the same thing, but one of the buttons always turns it off and like blows it up.
Okay, let's go to more and see if more has options. I keep accidentally clicking the video button. I'm gonna figure this out.
Yeah, totally.
But I'll do it later, not on your time. But yeah, you understand what I want to do is where I can like hit the space bar and then you'll hear directly what's coming out of my instead of it going out of the speaker and back into the microphone. But yeah, guys, thanks so much for the call.
Yeah, no, this is just the first one to get it right. We'll get all the bugs in and then we'll try again later, man.
Sounds good. Stay safe. Watch out for those coughs.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.